Everyone, this is Penn from the Creative Penn podcast, and today I'm interviewing Dorian. Mars is a digital entrepreneur who wants to change the online world through personal branding and creative marketing. So, one of your expertise is in sort of personal branding and online branding. So why is that branding so important on the internet, and why should authors care? Authors are my audience.
Well, because the branding is always sounds like a fancy schmancy word, but in fact it's just the way that you want to that people perceive you. That's all it is, right? It's the perception people should have of you, and especially when you're an author or creative, you got so much competition, and you got to make sure that you have a way of standing out. That you have something that makes you look way different than anyone else out there. And branding, any kind of branding and marketing will help you do that. It will help you establish you in a different way. It will pretty much make you like the signal in a dark ocean, right? That makes you stand out, no, depending on how well you do it.
And what do you mean by I guess creating that, or how can people do it? Because I'm sure people are sitting there kind of going, well, what is it about me that stands out? How can they actually find that?
All right, so it's actually pretty easy. You pretty much look at yourself and at your skills and at the way you are. And what you do is that you first of all crystallize it. So you make it very clear what your style is. And you use that and turn it into something visual, something that is easily recognizable. So let's say you have a pretty brash writing style, right? So you make sure that you never censor yourself, that you're always raw, right? That you maybe even use a similar amount of words that people can recognize, that people always associate with you. That you use your main color, maybe if you're passionate, that could be like red or warm color, right? Orange, yellow, and that you use that, for example, on your site, on your profiles, and then maybe even on your book cover, right? That there's always something that you pretty much define your style, the way you write, the way you present yourself, the way you actually have your logo, and that you always stay consistent with that you stick to it, and that you use it for everything you do. And that creates a presence that people will always associate with you.
So now people are sitting there going, okay, I've got my images and my color. Now, how do I actually get it out there? So what are some of your tips for getting your brand out there in the world?
Actually, of course, the cheapest and the best way today is to start your own site, right? To promote everything you do. And it could be like writing, it could be any creative service, promoting everything on your site, building a powerful presence and a community, and even as an author, starting that, and then sharing some of your writing, right? Making people really addicted to it, and have people say, oh man, I'm gonna read this next post, because this person is awesome. Doing that and pretty much promoting yourself, right? And if you got enough leverage and enough momentum, you can actually start selling your own stuff, right? And starting selling maybe even your own self-published book on that, if you build a strong enough presence, right? But the content has to matter a lot, and the branding, right? The visual aspect, the thing you actually stand for, the mission behind it, right? Your theme, and getting that straight, and then starting selling your own stuff, that's for me in today's age the way to go.
And what about social networking? Are you? I know you're on Twitter. What are the other things that you use to get traffic?
Actually, in the beginning, I did use a lot of different stuff. I used to be on so many different networks, but today it's just Facebook for friendships and deeper relations, and Twitter for everything blog and business related. And I think you just should concentrate and totally focus on one thing and really dominate it, instead of trying to be there, and that's you're like spreading your attention, and that's not very powerful. So I would just say concentrate on one thing. That's what I do. Twitter. It could be something else, and just focus all your energy on that. Build relationships. Just interact with people. It's really simple. Interact with people. Say, I really like what you're doing. We should get in touch. And you interact. You help other people promote their stuff. You just talk to them. You say, let's Skype sometime, right? Building with like-minded people, and that will build a powerful network over time.
Now, I'm also interested in your opinion about having multiple brands, because obviously it takes a while to build up a brand and a blog and everything around a brand. Now, many authors write in different genres. So somebody might be writing romance novels, but they also might be, say, a technical writer, you know, doing science stuff. So how can do people have to build two different brands if they write in two different genres, or how would they go about bringing those together?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I would personally say that when it comes to that, that you find one thing that is visible throughout everything you do. So even if you do, like, let's say technical writing and writing fantasy stories, that you have maybe like a tagline or a theme that is eminent in both areas, right? So when you're like something that is part of your brand, let's say that you're inspirational in a way, right? That if, when you write a fantasy story, that it's part of you, that you inspire people, that it's heart warming, right? And that you use that kind of approach to your technical writing as well, right? That instead of just saying like, this is a different brand, this is a different brand, this is a different brand, you use one thing, one common denominator that is visible for everything you do. You believe pretty much, right? What you believe. And if you have that belief, you know, and people know what you stand for, then you can pretty much like diverse in a lot of different areas. Because when you say like, I love to inspire people, you can write fantasy stories, you can write technical stuff, you can do even copywriting, right? So as long as your full brand is fully functional.
I like that. And I guess you have a lot of ideas. You're a real ideas guy, but you're also getting things done, clearly. So have you got any tips for people on moving from that cloud of ideas to actually seeing tangible results?
Well, what I do is like, I kind of have like the video game approach, that I set myself a time limit, and I see myself like a warrior that has to complete a certain task. And what I do is simply that um, in the morning, I think about what I want to accomplish this day, right? But I'm not really like writing everything down. It's just like a mental thing, just to focus on that stuff. And then when I start one thing, I set myself a timer, an online timer, for 30 minutes. And during that 30 minutes, I have to do concentrated quality work. You know, I cannot like use Twitter or stuff like that. I just focus on my work. I don't talk with anything or do that. It's just that work that I'm doing. And when the time is over, then I take a short break, a few minutes, you know, like refresh, maybe do some movement, listen to some music, and then I start another chunk of 30 minutes. And I call that a period of work, in short, like POW, P-O-W. And then at the end of the day, I pretty much like count how many posts I achieved today, like how many 30-minute chunks I actually did today. And then I set a high score, and I want to make sure that I beat it once in every while, right? That I say, today I achieved only 5, and I said, damn, now I got to achieve like 7 at least today, right? And that's the way to go. If you just like, if you don't have a time limit, if you don't really have a deadline, and you like just like slacking off and writing a little bit there, tweeting there, it's not productive. But if you make a conscious effort to time your stuff, to maybe have a similar approach, right? To use like chunks of time and to be super productive there, use breaks and then start again, you can get like so much done. It's ridiculous.
That is brilliant. I love that. I do the same thing. I'm really interested. You know, you're an inspiring guy, and you talk a lot about inspiration. Where do you get your inspiration from? Who inspires you?
Well, you mean like a thing or a specific person?
Either. Have you been reading all like lots of self-help books or something?
Actually, I used to in the beginning like hundreds, but I don't do it anymore. Actually, I'm inspired by people who are actually in a way different business. I have like role models like Marc Jacobs, from Louis Vuitton, or Karl Lagerfeld, and Takashi Murakami. I don't know if you know him. He's like the artist with like crazy cartoon pictures and sculptures. He's like world famous, and it just like in the morning, I usually like watch videos of people that I admire, people that are usually like twice my age, who have already like more experience and have an awesome career, usually artists and designers. And I just look at them and I just soak it all up and I think like so awesome what they do. Like I want to take that and build my own empire, right? And it's just like I always love to read about awesome individuals, creative individuals that are leaving their mark on planet Earth. And that is just like firing me so up. Whenever I feel lazy, I go watch a video by Karl Lagerfeld. He's so hilarious in German. And I'm like, man, this guy kicks ass. Now I'm gonna work on my stuff, right? It fires me up.
That's great. I really appreciate that. Where can people find you online?
Well, my two major platforms, of course, are my website, which is marsdorian.com, and Twitter. I'm like almost 24/7, right? I should actually like call their HQ and just get a bed because I'm so much on Twitter. I should just like sleep at the place. So that's like my major place. So and Twitter is Mars Dorian as well.
That's brilliant. Well, thank you ever so much for your time, Mars. That was great.
Oh, my pleasure.